I think we need to weigh this little guy before we start a review on it. This is the SOG Flash 1, and it weighs a hefty, no I'm kidding, it weighs a very, very lightweight of 1.20 ounces. Go ahead and take the scale away. We're going to go down talking points, kind of just describe what I think about this knife. It is around $35. I give it a perfect 10 out of 10 for its use. And this is going to be an everyday carry roll. So it's an assisted opening, 1.2 ounces. Nothing compares that I'm aware of in this date and time, fall 2011. So with that, we already weighed it. It's 1.2 ounces. And we're going to take a quick measurement of length here. Give me an idea. We are looking at an overall length under 6 inches, about 5 7/8. The blade length is 2.5 inches, and the thickness, it's about 3/8 inch. Kind of show you up here with the pocket clip. So there you have an idea as far as the dimensions go. Now, for the $35 price point, you're going to end up with a AUS 8 steel, and SOG makes a good treatment. I think they, do a, I can't remember what their treatment is, but this has lasted me almost 2 years now, and I still haven't touched the edge on it. That's not to say I've thrashed on this blade, but I have put it through its use, and I don't know if we're going to be able to pick up on it. You can see right there, right on the edge tip, it has rolled just a little bit, and that's simply because I haven't maintained the edge on it. That's, if I kept it more sharp, it wouldn't have done that. So, but if you're thinking it's a cheap steel, keep in mind this is a SOG Creed. Retails for about $160, and this is one of their premier, knives. Gunny himself, this is his favorite knife that they make, and this uses the same AUS 8 steel. So don't let that steel, make it a bad decision. It's a great decision for an everyday carry knife. It's the right price point, good wear resistance, excellent rust resistance at the right value. So blade shape, it's a drop point, which I think is an effective use for a blade. It's not an impractical Bowie. We're not really going to be stabbing with this. It's just a primarily used knife. Your belly starts here, about 2/3 of the way over, and the rest of it's flat. So for this size knife, it works for carving as well as cutting and prying, not prying tasks, but use where the belly of the blade needs to be useful and not small in size. So our locking mechanism is I think they call it a piston lock. It's this little bar here, and now when it's not deployed, you can see it does move around a little bit. But when it's sitting in your pocket, it really doesn't rattle around, but that is something to note. So when it deploys, it's solid, it doesn't rattle around anymore, and that bar just slides forward. I'm not sure how you can see it in there. There's that piston lock that deploys, slides in there. There it is. So it is solid, and there is a little bit of blade play. After a couple years I can tighten it up, but you can see there's a little bit of wiggle room, and you can get just a little bit of flex pushing on the back of the spine, not much. Now the pocket clip effectiveness is one of my favorite features of this knife outside of its weight, and that is the very, very deep carry. You don't even see the top of the knife. You only see the pocket clip, no matter what kind of apparel you're wearing. It has enough space underneath it so that extra fold in the top of the jeans has no problem getting over that. The handle materials aren't too aggressive, so it slides over easily and has good retention. So outstanding tip up, either right or left side. It is reversible. So an outstanding pocket clip. Now the handle material is a fiberglass reinforced nylon, FRN. There are no liners. Let's see if we can shed a little more light on that just so you can... No liners to speak of, and that's why it gets its 1.2 ounce weight with still a 2.5 inch blade. That's, fairly thick. There you go, I forgot to show the thickness. There you have it. Pretty decent tip. It can do fine work, but it's not so weak you're going to have issues. So nice job there. But getting back on task, the handle material has a nice texturing to it, where it's not aggressive, but it's enough where it's going to maintain grip where you need it, when you need it. Now let's go ahead and, man, we've already cruised on through. I gave it You know, 3 points for construction and specs. Benefits, I gave it a 3. Value, I gave it a 3. X factor, I gave it a 1. So it's perfect 10 out of 10. So if you don't want to watch anymore, jump right ahead and buy one of these suckers for 35 bucks. You won't regret it. But now, ergonomics. This kind of gets a little bit tricky because it is a small knife and I do have slender hands, or slender fingers, but I can get my 2 fingers in those first 2 spots and get all 4 on there, firm grip, and just clear the handle. So I can really get a lot of force behind this knife if I need to and still be safe with it. So I think they did a nice job sizing it down for such a small blade. You could do 3 fingers if you want to. And on the back here you can see there's a little bit of a ramp. So there's a texturing to it, but it's more cosmetic. But it still gives you enough purchase, but I generally just choke up on it for the tasks I'm usually doing. Now, pocket deployment speed, let's go ahead and take a look at that. Check it out. So here we run into a problem with most knives where you have maybe a phone and even the Streamless Stylus Pro kind of sitting next to it, pushing up against the pocket, not much way to deploy it, but no problems. You have your knife ready to go. This is one of the great benefits of having a slim knife. Deep carry pocket flip. Now you can see, there's no way you're going to see that knife. You're just going to see a little itty bitty pocket flip. Most won't even know what that is because it's so small. So there you have it. Check the back pocket real quick. Again, you won't see much. Comes out with ease, no problems. Back here to we just did pocket deployment speed. Let's do mode of operation. Well, a couple places you could use this knife. I primarily use it as a backup everyday carry knife or even a primary everyday carry knife. If I'm wearing business slacks or dressed up nice, I will wear this because it doesn't show anything other than this pocket clip. And I'm not going to be using hard use knives when I'm generally dressed up like that. I won't be in that kind of environment. I'm not opening up packages doing freight or anything like that. So this would be an outstanding primary everyday carry or backup depending on your use. It could be, I've taken it camping several times. I think there's better options because if I'm going camping, what's really the thing stopping us from taking a fixed blade? But that's not to say we can't still have a folder in our pocket, so it could work there as well. Now modifications, the only real modification I would make would be coating. Now there's nothing wrong with this shiny satin finish. Let's take a closer look at that. I mean, they've done an outstanding job. That has almost a mirror polish on it. But if that were coated, maybe like a black satin or some of their camo versions that they're doing with their handles and the larger versions or different colors, I think those would be modifications I'd love to see from the factory. As far as you might be able to put a little bit of cordage through there for that small lanyard hole, but really I don't think you need to modify this knife. I think it's fine just as it is. Maybe put some Duracoat on it. That'd be about the only thing I could think of. Help you even more with the rust resistance of that AUS 8. Value. Well, talked about the price a couple times. $35 thereabouts retail. And I think for an assisted opening at that price point with that steel, it's an outstanding deal. Sure, there's harder use knives out there, but they're extra weight. So, value. I purchased this on eBay. They're readily available. Most retailers that sell SOG. So, for the price point, can't beat it. Quality of construction. Well, it has very, very few, if any, sharp points. Everything's well smoothed out. There's no abrasive edges. What I dislike is this locking mechanism. Quality, it does have a nice, let's see, I don't know if you can hear it. It has a nice little snick, for that's, using the knife or storing it so now you can't open it. But I think that's unnecessary. But other than that, really complaint, and the little wobble in there once it's in your pocket, I think quality's, very well put together. If some people complain about being made in Japan, well, I'll tell you what, quality and the quality control is still there. Blade centering, you can see because I have a little bit of blade play, there is a little bit there, but you know what? It's never rubbed, never had issue. So, give it outstanding marks there. And variations, there aren't any as far as I'm aware of. The SOG Flash 2 have an Axis style lock, but I think the Flash 1 still utilize the piston lock. So again, I'd like to see different handle materials or blade coatings, but as of now, this is the only variation that I know of. So enough about this knife for a little bit. Kind of set it right there. Talk about competitive options. It's probably one of the most important things out there. So keep in mind, this is an assisted opening knife, under an ounce and a half, under, we'll just even be nice, we'll say under $50. First off, I don't know of many assisted knives that are under 1.5 ounces, let alone under $50. So right there, it's going to be hard to match that up. But let's just say you're looking for something that's the same weight or so, about the same price point. Let's start probably its biggest competitor. That's the Spyderco Dragonfly. Let's go ahead and weigh that real quick. 1.21 ounces, so 1/100th of an ounce heavier. Now, what I like about this, it's about the same blade length. It's a little bit shorter, but you have that finger choil. So I prefer this if I'm camping because it has a VG10 steel. It's about $50, a little bit more expensive, but you get a little bit more use out of that blade as far as the ability to cut with it, and you can see the belly's a full length. So there's an option for you, the Spyderco Dragonfly. Now a little bit more expensive, well out of the price range, but still using the AUS 8 steel, is the Almar. I believe this is the Hawk Eagle Ultralight, and it's the smallest version. This runs about anywhere from $90 to $120. It's pretty hard to find, so some people might be charging more for it, but it's still lightweight. Let's go ahead and weigh this real quick. Sorry, didn't mean to turn that off. 0.98 ounces. 99 ounces. So basically an ounce. So a little bit lighter. There is no pocket clip, but it's relatively the same size. So that might be a more expensive option to go with. Now this one's interesting. This is the K-Bar Dozier design. It's the mini Dozier. And this is probably about the closest comparison that you're going to find. It's only about $20 or so. 1.18 ounces. So all about the same weight and size. But again, none of these are assisted opening. Now there's one more out there, but I have something similar. This is the Buck Bantam. Now they make a mini version. It's about $20 price point, and it has a very, very, very light handle to it for its blade length. So that would be my only other option, and that I believe is US made. So there you have competitive options. Now our final talking point here. Generally, I don't give an X factor value for a knife unless it really does something special. And in this case, I've already mentioned half a dozen times, the assisted opening is what makes this knife outstanding. You're not going to find something that's going to be small and easy to deploy. I mean, just a little bit of a nudge, and that knife comes flying out of there. Let's go ahead and do left-handed. No problems. So that makes it very unique, and it's subtle in that most people won't realize that it's an assisted opening, other than the fact that because it's so small, you just hear this noise and see a knife. You don't even realize, you know, it was closed a millisecond beforehand. And the design overall, you know, it's fairly slim. It could be a little bit slimmer, but by no means is it thick. And the deep pocket carry gives that extra little point, push it over that mark, and gives it a perfect 10 out of 10. So this has been the review of the SOG Flash 1. Go ahead and leave a comment if you have any questions. Love to hear your comments. If you want to see more of these style knife reviews, hit that subscribe button up there. I'd greatly appreciate it. So this is the One Idea Head channel. I'm your host, Dash. Thanks for your time. I appreciate your views and your support. Signing off. Peace.